Disclaimer: the content provided in this podcast is for informational and entertainment purposes only. While we discuss topics related to mental health advice, life wisdom, and alike, the opinions expressed are personal views of the hosts and do not constitute professional, legal, or medical advice. We make no representations or warranties about the accuracy or completeness of the information discussed. Any action you take based on the information in this podcast is strictly at your own risk, and we are not liable for any losses or damages in connection with its use. Additionally, this podcast may contain discussions around addictions, substances, which are intended for adult audiences. We do not endorse any illegal activities. Please consult your local laws before engaging in any actions related to this content. By listening to this podcast, you agree that you are over the age of 18 or the age of majority in your jurisdiction and understand the terms of this disclaimer.
Welcome to the Balancing Forces podcast, where two opposites collide in the best way possible. One brings the fire,
the other keeps it chill.
But together we share life's lessons, hard-earned wisdom,
advice you can actually use.
Whether you need a fresh perspective or just a laugh, we're here to elevate your mind. So buckle up, because things are about to get real and
really funny.
Are you ready to level up your astrology game? Join the Alchemist Laboratory by Solar Systems. For just $33 a month, you get access to 10+ courses, a resource library, manifestation secrets, live Q&As, and so much more. Over $2,300 in value. Transform your understanding of astrology and unlock hidden knowledge. Sign up now through the school app and follow Solar Systems on TikTok and Instagram.
Chapter 34, Dumbest Exercise Ever, but it works. For those who are struggling greatly with any sense at all of self-worth, I offer what I concede to be the dumbest exercise ever. And it is so because we've all seen some version of it already, whether on late-night TV or elsewhere. Yet, for as simple and laughable as it is, you'd be shocked how monstrously terrifying it is for a great many of my clients, to the point where they simply cannot bring themselves to do it. No way, no how. I had one client who objectively refused for weeks to even consider doing it until I said I'd have to consider stopping my working with her. Simply this: I want you to stand in front of a full-length mirror, if you have one, buck naked, both physically and spiritually, seeing yourself inside and out, and state 6 or 7 sentences several times. And I want you to do it twice a day for 30 days. It'll take you 5 minutes a day. Heck, do it for a week and tell me it doesn't move the needle, even a small amount, in that small time. Stand in front of that mirror, buck naked, and say with vigor, I actually beep like me. I am a sexy mother, bleep. I am beautiful. I'm smart as bleep. I bleep love how creative I am. People bleep love me. Heck, I love me. I am bleep brilliant. Sounds stupid, doesn't it? You're laughing right now at how dumb it is. Yet, as I said, you'd be shocked how powerful it is. And do you know how I know? Because no sooner do I say it than you wince from doing so. You can't do it, or you resist it, because somewhere in you, A, you don't believe it can work, but also B, you don't believe the words. And so a full frontal assault on what you've previously believed your truths to be is one more mechanism for breaking the hardened cement of your core, false beliefs. Granted, this must be done in conjunction with the other concepts and exercise of this book, specifically identifying your core beliefs and fears, and your 3 binary gates under them, and then diving into and changing them. But it is a powerful and scary tool nonetheless. I have had numerous clients so full of self-loathing, both physically and spiritually, that they had removed all mirrors from their house, only worn long-sleeve shirts and full-length pants in public, or simply avoided going out into public altogether. And of course, that hiding of oneself physically is but a metaphor for the hiding of what a person wrongly perceives to be their own dirty, hideous soul. So deeply and vigorously has the great lie been implanted in them that their life is fully consumed by misery, self-loathing, even hatred, and ultimately longing for escapes. That's why this is such a powerful exercise. It is the breaking of old metaphors and old beliefs. It is part of a greater process of going directly to the pain, rather than continuing to run from it and allowing that same pain to wash over you and pass out of you. Moths and the necessity of sitting in the pain. There was a young boy who, while playing in his backyard one day, found a cocoon attached to the leaf of a low-lying branch. Very excited, he stood, staring at the little white cloud puff. Then, as a million little boys have done before him, he snapped the small branch and brought it inside and inserted into a mason jar he retrieved from his mother's cold storage room. He added a few extra leaves, screwed on the gold lid, and then used a screwdriver to puncture the lid with a few air holes. Ever so gently, he then carried his glass treasure into his bedroom and slid it onto the dresser, proud of his mini home construction and eager to watch the drama unfold. Well, one day evolved into the next. Each day he came home after school and scampered into his room to see if there was movement. Each day, nothing, until one day he noticed the tiniest of cracks in the little white pillow. Giddy with fulfilled anticipation, he was struck with an idea, a wonderful, helpful idea. He gently pulled the jar from the dresser, grabbed his brother's mini toolkit, took the jar and the kit out into the warm sun of the back step, and plopped himself down for his first foray into the microsurgery. Possessed by the brilliant idea of exhuming the butterfly from the pillowy casket of his past life, he extracted the small X-Acto knife from his brother's toolkit, then made the smallest and most delicate of incisions down the length of the cocoon. As expected, this gave the moth inside the perfect opportunity to slip out and begin her new life. By this time, the boy's mother and father had come out of the house and were standing at the door admiring their boy's handiwork and the gorgeously colored moth that had emerged. As it stood and fluttered its wings, the boy squealed with delight. "Watch, Daddy, are you watching?" The three of them were riveted by the beginning movements of his new life. The beautiful little creature, as if aware of her audience, extended her wings and flew off, a few feet to a nearby blade of grass where it alighted, then to the petal of a lily close by, then back in the direction of the boy. Little hops here and there, a foot or two off of the ground, again and again she more jumped around than flew blade to branch, until the boy queried, "Mummy, why isn't she flying away?" Mum and Dad were wondering the same thing as concern creeped over their faces. And it wasn't long before the gorgeous new life settled on the concrete of the back step and stood there for what seemed like the longest time, till eventually she lay down, dead, unable to fly. She was unable to live, much to the shock and sadness of the boy and his parents. A quick internet search later, the young family discovered that the small boy's attempt to help had actually produced the opposite result. As it turned out, the moth needed to fight her way out of her own cocoon, for the struggle is what gives her wings strength. The struggle is necessary. To be confronted with, sit in, and be required to fight her own way out of her pain and prison is precisely what gives power and flight to the new life. There is no shortcut or end around. The pain is the cure. The struggle is the strength. Journaling recommendation. 1. What is the pain you continue to avoid? What is the part of you that you most loathe? Do you have the courage to finally sit in it and allow it to wash over you and pass out of you? Do you have the courage to change your language about that one aspect and others of yourself? 2. What is the single most difficult positive thing you could possibly say about yourself to yourself? What is the one affirmation you could almost never believe? Why? What power source implanted that belief into you? I challenge you to make that affirmation the one at the very top of your list, the one you do most repeatedly. Song recommendation. I'm recommending Helplessly Hoping here by Crosby, Stills, and Nash. It's a love song of sorts, but the crossover to the relationship between you and your own soul is not hard to recognize. For those who are a little bit saltier and like rap, try the song by Minneapolis group Atmosphere, God Loves Ugly. So remember, we're giving away this signed autograph copy of There's a Hole in My Love Cup. To enter, just like, subscribe, and comment. Also sign up for our Beacons link to get into the giveaway. Thank you very much for tuning in. Stay amazing, stay awesome, and remember always to keep it real.